you speaking to our audience today about our SystemEdge product offering. So what we're going to cover today is for those of you who may be new to our SystemEdge offering. We're going to go over exactly what does that mean. It's our marketing term for some pre-wired systems. We'll go over that in a lot of detail. And then I'll cover those packages in a lot of detail, go over what exactly we have available to help you sell battery-based solutions to your customers. And then we're going to wrap the webinar up with some helpful tools and techniques for selling our battery-based SystemEdge systems. So a lot of you, particularly those that may be new to battery-based systems, you may have been told or you're under the impression that these systems can be pretty complex compared to traditional grid-tied inverter installation. The goal of SystemEdge is to take some of that mystery out of battery-based system and to simplify the design and installation of battery-based systems by basically taking all of these parts, which used to be needed to be ordered separately, required some expertise on exactly what's needed and how it all goes together, and take that guesswork out of it and providing equipment in one part number that you can order through AEE, and it's stuff that you're typically not going to have on your truck. It's going to be all there. You can just go to the job site, get the job done quickly and easily. So that's the objective of SystemEdge, and we're going to cover that in detail in the next 30 minutes or so. So SystemEdge, it's, as I mentioned earlier, they're pre-engineered systems. They meet all code requirements. They're built upon our very popular FlexPower systems, which is OutBack's name for an integrated inverter charge controller, AC and DC load centers, communications, balance of system equipment for a completely pre-wired system that can be quickly and easily installed. Basically what that means is you've got your basic field connections, your batteries, your AC input and output, and your PV input, and you're up and running. So all of these systems, which we call SystemEdge, include a FlexPower, some sort of energy storage. We've got different types for different applications, and we'll cover that today. Battery racking, so you're not having to build your own battery box or enclosure, so very nice and clean. And a combiner box solution that meets all of the necessary code requirements, including NEC 2017. It's also priced as a package, so it's less expensive to buy a SystemEdge solution than it would be to ordering all of the bits and pieces individually, and it makes it really simple, all under one part number. So what we've done to make SystemEdge, we think, a lot easier and to take some of the mystery out of it, is to give them names that more relate to what your home or business owner or customer, something that they can relate to. So we call them names like a cabin series and a lodge series and a villa series to kind of convey the size of the home. I know you can't really necessarily size a system that way, but you can certainly get somebody in the ballpark and get them thinking about the right size of things. So we've broken them down into two of the most popular applications, being off-grid and grid-tied battery backup, giving them names that people can relate to. They can kind of get an idea in a picture in their mind of what this system would be able to power. And it really helps get the conversation for battery-based systems off on the right foot and off to a good start. So we're going to cover all of these systems now, starting with our cabin series. So these are designed for off-grid applications, such as a small hunting or fishing cabin, or maybe a ski lodge, something where it's not going to be a primary residence for a person, but more something maybe they go to over the weekend and they're running a coffee pot, some lights, and a few appliances. These are ideal systems for that. But they can also be used for small grid-tied battery backup systems, somebody just wanting to run some basic or back up some basic loads in the event of a power outage, such as a garage door, a few lights in the house, and maybe keep their cell phone charged. So these would be a good solution for that as well. But the real intent for this series would be for small off-grid packages or off-grid residences. So they range in size from 3 to 3.6 kW and energy storage up to about 20 kilowatt hours. So a little more detail. This is built on our very popular FlexPower 1. It's our FP1 VFXR 3648A-01. That's the new UL 1741 approved inverter solution with grid support functionality, which is a requirement for systems going in both California and Hawaii today and more states going forward. So you can see in the pictures of the components included, it's the FlexPower 1 with a battery rack, 2-shelf battery rack with 8 of our 200 NC nanocarbon batteries. Great battery for off-grid. They give you up to 3,000 cycles at 50% depth of discharge, which equates to somewhere out in the 5, 7, even up to 10 years worth of life out of those batteries, which is very good for a maintenance-free battery. And your combiner box solution, which meets 2017 compliant code requirements. And all of our systems include our renowned Optics RE monitoring control platform. That's a cloud-based platform that is really nice for off-grid residents, particularly ones that people aren't living in year-round, because it allows people, if they have internet connection, which may not be the case in a really remote location, but if they do, they can see what's going on with their system, even do something as sophisticated as starting a generator if they see batteries are getting low because maybe there's snow on the PV panels or there's an issue with the PV system. They can protect their batteries by starting their generator remotely and charging up their batteries. So really nice feature if your customer is able to take advantage of it. So moving up, we move now to our Cottage Series. This again, these are off-grid power systems going up in size. We start with our 420 NC. So maybe we'll spend just a moment to help you decode the part numbers. So anything you see starting with the letters SE, Sam Edward, that would indicate it's a SystemEdge package, which based on what you've heard today, means it's a inverter system, batteries, combiner box, and optics all rolled up into one part number. So that's what the SE stands for. The first number after the dash is the kilowatt hours, the kilowatts of the inverter, excuse me. So in this case, it's a 4 kilowatt inverter, and then the next 2 digits indicate the size of the battery bank in kilowatt hours. That's the nameplate, the full maximum energy capability of that battery bank. And then the last 2 letters in the part number indicate the family of battery. So in this case, it's our nanocarbon batteries. So the nice thing as we move up into this Cottage Series, it's built around our Radiant inverter, is it makes it very easy to incorporate a generator into the customer solution, which in a lot of off-grid, particularly those that are permanent residences as opposed to the cabin series, a generator is typically part of the customer's power solution. And with dual AC inputs as offered on the Radiant family of inverters, makes it really easy to tie in a generator along with a utility grid if the customer has that ability to connect up with the grid. So with that in mind, these are also great solutions for grid tie battery backup for customers that are looking for extra resiliency by adding a generator into their power solution. So like the cabin series, it's the same IBR2 battery rack with 8 of our 200 NC nanocarbon batteries, our ICS Plus combiner box solution with rapid shutdown and arc fault incorporated, which allows us to address the NEC 2017 standard, and again, Optics RE. So just getting a little bit larger in size and adding some features and functionality. So the next family of products is our Lodge series. These are built around both our FlexPower 2 dual inverter systems, and our Radian family of products. So as you probably have been noticing as we're going through these slides, inverters are getting larger, battery banks are getting larger in terms of kilowatt hours. So we're moving up into larger loads, which you typically see as you move up in size of residence. So the SE740RE is a great off-grid package for a medium-size off-grid residence, 7.2 kW, ability to run both 120 and 240 volt loads, which is common with things like well pumps, air conditioning, electric clothes dryers, other items that require 240 volt power. We move up into a larger 2 volt battery bank. These would be 24 2 volt cells. That picture is actually showing a 24 volt battery bank, but this would actually be a 48 volt system you get. So double the size, double the number of cells you see in the picture here. It's our ICS Plus 2 combiner box. So you actually get 2 of those combiner boxes that I'm circling with my mouse right now. So do 2 of those with the system to go along with the 2 charge controllers. There is actually a second charge controller that would come with this system. MSRP on a system of this size is just going to be north of $27,000. And hopefully you're kind of noticing as we go up in power and capacity with these systems, our MSRP is also increasing. But this is helpful for guiding you to provide some quotes for your customers as you walk through the system. And when we get to the end of this, I will show you more of a menu approach that you can use to quickly and easily help you dial up your customers' needs and their budget and quickly close a sale on our battery-based systems. Next product in this family, the Cottage Series, is our SE-750 NC. So we go from our RE batteries, which is a traditional AGM deep cycle off-grid battery, to the nanocarbon battery, which gives you about over 40% more cycles. So it's a great off-grid battery, and it gives you quite a bit more life for a small premium compared to the traditional RE battery. So if someone's looking for the longest life, this is a great option. I think right now we're at the cusp of some really promising battery technology that's still maybe a little unproven at this point, and the price point's very high, but the nanocarbon is a great bridging technology. It gives extremely good cycle life at a small premium over today's lead acid, traditional flooded and sealed lead acid battery pricing, but gives close to some advanced technology type cycle life. So this is a 50 kilowatt hour nanocarbon battery. Same power system as previously, same combiner box solution, and again, optics are included with all of our systems. So this will give you just over 50 kilowatt hours of nameplate energy storage. At 50% depth of discharge, it gives you just over 26 kilowatt hours of useful energy at a 50% depth of discharge. The last series we'll talk about today is our Villa series. This is our top of the line off-grid package. We've got a couple of offerings. First is our SE830 NC. This is built around our FlexPower 8K FlexPower Radian power system with a 3-shelf battery rack with 12 of our 200 NC nanocarbon batteries, giving just under 14 kilowatt hours of usable energy storage at 50% depth of discharge. Very nice solution, our most popular package by far. Meets a nice size, hits a good price point. It's very compact, easy to install in a customer's residence, looks great, and has been a very popular model for OutBack Power and our partners. We offer this same package with a larger battery bank. This is built around our 1100 amp hour nanocarbon battery, providing just over almost double the kilowatt hours of storage of the 830 NC. So for customers looking for a little bit more autonomy, or perhaps in a little less sunny climate, the additional energy storage could be very beneficial and be the right solution for that particular customer. Our largest inverter and battery package is our SE14130RE. This is built around our FlexPower 4. This is a 4 inverter system, which does provide some redundancy, which can be beneficial for some customers, particularly those that are really in remote or very critical applications. It's built with 4 of our FlexMax 80 charge controllers, so it can accept up to 16 kW worth of solar. So quite a large system, powering loads of up to almost 14.5 kW continuous. It's built around our 2700 RE battery, which if you multiply 2700 amp hours times 48 volts, which this system is, that gives you your 130 kilowatt hours of nameplate energy storage. And again, following the same 50% guideline of discharge, it gives you just shy of 65 usable kilowatt hours. So this is a very large system, great for larger off-grid homes, also for lodges and outposts, maybe a hunting or fishing lodge. This is a great package solution for those type of applications. So those are what we would call off-grid or self-consumption packages, where essentially these systems are going to be providing 100%, or at least as close as we can to 100% of the customer's loads directly from the renewable energy system, the PV and the stored energy. The next family of products is built around the grid tie plus energy storage offering, or grid tie battery backup. And we have 2 products for this. We call it the Townhome series. This is built around our 4 kilowatt Radian FlexPower system. Same battery rack, but you'll notice that the batteries are orange in this instance, as opposed to the gray batteries that we've seen previously. These are our GH family of products, of batteries, and they're built for grid tie battery backup applications. They come out of the telecom industry. They're called a float service battery. And what these batteries do extremely well is they'll last a very long time, up to or well over 10 years in most cases, being held at a full state of charge, just waiting for a power outage. And they can be cycled very hard when there is an outage. We recommend 70, even up to 80% depth of discharge if your power outages are infrequent. And by that I mean if you get half a dozen outages that typically last for a few hours to maybe 6 or 8 hours in duration, you can take those batteries safely down to 70, 80% depth of discharge and still get well over 10 years worth of life out of those batteries. So just like the other packages, they do include the combiner box. So everything you need, with the exception of racking and modules, are included. So grid tie battery backup for a smaller home, or just for a small number of loads. And I'll show you some slides that define what I mean by that in a moment. But you would be quoting a customer less installation and racking MSRP of right around, or a price right around $19,000 for this type of grid tie battery backup system. Moving up to our Suburban series, very similar. We do move up to our 8 kilowatt Radian, so twice the amount of output. We add an additional string of our 200 GH batteries, giving you just around, actually based on 30 kilowatt hours, you're probably going to get closer to 20, 21 kilowatt hours of useful energy if you take it down to 70% depth of discharge. So this system adds a little over $5,000 to the MSRP to get the twice as much output and about 25–30% more storage. So I said
I would define what we meant by loads that could be backed up, and I think this chart does a very good job of explaining that concept, and something that installers and salespeople for solar companies can use to help sell battery backup systems to your customers. So this chart will show how many different loads with easy to follow icons. So starting from the left and moving to the right, the first systems tell you that both the 420GH or the SE420GH and the SE830GH would both power 5 light bulbs, a TV, a refrigerator, and a computer. And that's for 6 hours of backup, a minimum of 6 hours. Obviously, the 830NC would give you almost twice as much backup power as the other system, 33%, I guess, to be precise. So you move up and you just can show the customer, or you can work on what it is they want to back up and see at what point do I need to actually go to the 830GH. And in this example, you're getting quite a bit of backed up loads. You're getting space heater to keep comfortable in a you keep a room, a sleeping area or a living area warm in a power outage. You can run up to 15 different lighting circuits. You could have 3 TVs, probably one's enough if it really is a power outage, but if you wanted to, you could allow the kids to watch cartoons while you watch the news in another room. You could have up to 3 refrigerators, freezers going, and a computer on, so you can track what's causing the power outage, or communicate with your friends and family with what's going on during the power outage. So a chart like this, you can put that down in front of your customer and say, what is it that we want to back up, and quickly and easily figure out if a certain power system is going to meet the customer's needs or not. So I mentioned through some of these slides, I just wanted to touch briefly on rapid shutdown and arc fault. So what's a little different that might be, I think it's the biggest catch up for some of our grid tie installers that move into battery-based inverters, is the inverter doesn't actually connect to the PV array. That's why battery-based inverters are often called DC coupled. So since we don't connect to the PV array, we need to locate the arc fault and the rapid shutdown as close as we can to the PV array. So our solution is to incorporate that functionality into the combiner box that can be mounted up on the roof, on the extended rails, or some other method of mounting the combiner box close to the PV array. And then, like all systems, we would have a rapid shutdown initiator or interface down by the meter where the first responder can find it and de-energize the array. System also includes remote trip relay breakers that are wired into our load centers to disconnect this end of the charge source as well, so that the batteries aren't inadvertently energizing any of the conductors in the system. So we're disconnecting at both the array side as well as the charge controller and battery end of the circuit as well. So it's a really nice solution that's included with each of our SystemEdge packages, so you can be assured that your installation will fly through inspection. So I'm going to go into a scenario here because I think we've covered those systems quite well. And I think this does I see this all the time as the director of sales for OutBack, and I hate to admit it, but I've been guilty of this many times myself, where I'm talking to or helping one of our distributors sell a battery-based system. We ask the question, what would you like to be able to back up? And real common response is, I want everything backed up. You sure you can afford that? Oh yeah, yes, I can afford that. So we do a lot of hours of design work, come back and quote the system, quote the homeowner or business owner a cost, and they choke on it and tell you that, boy, that's really not what I had in mind. I thought it would be more like X amount of dollars. So we go back to the drawing board and come up with a system that will meet what they need. So with SystemEdge, you can show the customer, and I'll show you a nice way of doing this, or what I think is a nice way of doing it. You can show them a couple of different options, tell them what those particular packages will do for them, quickly and easily come to consensus on what's needed and what can be afforded. And then you can go about just verifying by doing a little bit of homework on your end, checking some of the ratings on the appliances, make sure that the system truly will do what the customer needs, and then move forward. So we've put together what we call a SystemEdge menu that lists all of the available systems, kind of covers briefly what each of them will do with storage and how much load. You could, if you choose, have a price list available or use some readily available tools to mark up pricing on each of these different options, and just help walk the customer through what it is that they can afford and what it is they want to do. And it's a great tool to sit down at a customer's kitchen table and, again, quickly come to a consensus on what's needed and what can be afforded. And these tools are available on our website and available through our great partner AEE. So this is the menu approach, and the goal of this is really to help you sell more systems and help you manage customers' expectations, which is probably the two biggest challenges that we see day in, day out selling battery-based systems. So with that, that's the end of my formal presentation. Definitely look forward to working with Hannah to get your questions answered. I really appreciate your time and attention, and wish you a great success selling OutBack SystemEdge going forward.
All right. Thank you so much for the presentation. We'll go ahead and dive into our questions.